Welcome, everyone. Today, we're literally putting on our detective hats and grabbing our magnifying glasses. We're diving deep into the world of ERC 4337 Paymaster policies to investigate something that is absolutely crucial to any Web3 developer out there: monitoring and optimizing gas costs.
So let's kick things off with a massive question, one that honestly might be keeping you up at night. Are your Paymaster policies actually saving you money, or are they just quietly leaking gas in the background? It's a real mystery, right? You see, the policy scripts you've written act as this control plane. They dictate exactly when and how your Paymaster sponsors a transaction. But here's the catch. Those brilliant decisions in your code are only genuinely useful if you can actually measure whether they reduce net costs. Without that hard proof, your policies might just be draining your funds, drop by drop. And there is no way we're letting that happen.
All right, here is our quick roadmap for today's explainer. 1. The gas leak mystery. 2. Building the monitoring pipeline. 3. Ingesting and extracting data. 4. Interpreting your metrics. 5. Generating the debug report. And finally, 6. Next steps for optimization. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The gas leak mystery. Now, to actually optimize anything, we absolutely need observability. I mean, sure, we might already know how to point to a policy rule that rejects sponsorship for high gas, low-value flows, but we need to step way beyond just looking at the code. We have to map those specific policy decisions to actual, real-world gas usage. And our primary target for this? The sponsorship event. This is that exact specific instance when a paymaster evaluates an incoming request and decides, based on your defined policy scripts, to cover the transaction costs. To catch any inefficiencies, to really find those gas leaks, we've got to instrument these events end-to-end. We have to collect the sponsorship metadata, trace the exact gas costs, and tie them perfectly together.
Moving on to Section 2, building the monitoring pipeline.
Okay, you might be thinking, we definitely need some massive, enterprise-grade software to pull this off. But we actually don't. We are building our very own lightweight magnifying glass using 3 fundamental steps. This perfectly avoids those heavy observability platforms, meaning you can run the whole workflow right on their testnet node or even your own local machine and iterate incredibly quickly. First up, the log ingester. This reads the raw bundler logs or RPC traces. Second, the metric extractor. Think of this as the brain. It computes the sponsorship level metrics for each transaction. And third, the reporter, which neatly outputs summaries that both you and a machine can read. It's the whole shebang, but super lightweight.
Setting this up is actually super straightforward. Inside a root monitoring folder, you're going to create an ingest.js file. This normalizes the raw logs into a predictable shape. Then extract.js steps in to do the heavy lifting, aggregating the metrics per paymaster and policy tag. After that, report.js generates your final debug report JSON file. And we even provide a sample logs JSON-L file. It's essentially a set of example bundler logs so you can test this entire flow locally. 0 mainnet funds or private keys required. Pretty sweet, right?
Section 3. Ingesting and extracting data. All right, time for our first real action step: to turn this massive fire hose of unstructured logs into structured, trackable clues that we can actually use. We initialize a minimal node project and install a small but incredibly mighty dependency called nd.json. This stands for New Line Delimited JSON. And guys, this format is absolutely crucial. It allows our ingester script to stream massive log files line by line, safely. Instead of trying to load a giant gigabyte-sized log file into memory and literally crashing your machine, it just processes one JSON object at a time. It's a real game changer for scaling.
So what does our ingester actually spit out? Well, it adapts your specific bundler log schema into a beautiful, uniform record shape. We grab the canonical transaction ID, the timestamp, the paymaster identifier, and those all-important cost metrics, like gas used and gas paid by sponsor. We also note if the execution was a success. But I want you to pay very close attention to that last bullet, the policy tag. This right here is the exact policy rule that was evaluated. This binds the code logic to the actual gas used. Without this tag, you just have a bunch of contextless numbers. But with it, you know exactly why those numbers exist.
Section 4. Interpreting your metrics.
Now that we've extracted all this gorgeous data, it's time to identify our rogue suspects. You know, those highly inefficient transactions that are just eating up your gas reserves? Let's look at what a healthy transaction flow looks like versus a problematic one. A good scenario is having a low average gas per transaction combined with a high sponsor coverage percentage.
That means your policies are working lean and mean. But a bad scenario, our prime suspect here, is persistently high average gas combined with a low sponsor coverage percentage. This bad scenario is a massive red flag. It points to expensive flows where the sponsor isn't fully paying, which usually means you've got a policy mismatch, incomplete refund handling, or maybe some bloated, redundant call data in the transaction itself.
To make your life infinitely easier, we've put together the ultimate engineering cheat sheet. You can build these exact derived metrics right into your reporter script to automatically flag anomalies. We compute average gas per transaction just by dividing total gas by the count. We find the sponsor coverage percentage by dividing sponsor gas by total gas and then multiplying by 100. And failure rate is simply failures divided by count. Those flag conditions we're detailing? These are the mathematical thresholds where your internal alarms should definitely be ringing.
Let's zoom in on this specific number, greater than 300,000. If your average gas per transaction creeps over 300,000 gas, that should immediately trigger a deeper, targeted investigation. Like, why is it so high? Are you sponsoring redundant contract calls? Is there an outlier policy that's just way too generous? That number is your cue to pull out the magnifying glass and really start digging into the specific flows driving up that average.
And here is another critical threshold to watch out for: greater than 5%. I really must emphasize this. A failure rate over 5% is a major blinking red flag. It indicates a severe policy mismatch. If transactions are failing that often, you are literally bleeding gas on reverted executions. Your policy scripts are likely approving transactions they really shouldn't be, and the network is punishing your paymaster for it.
Section 5. Generating the debug reports.
Okay, so we've gathered the clues, we've crunched the math, and we've spotted the anomalies. Now, your reporter script is going to output a tidy little file called debugreport.json. This file is the holy grail. It perfectly bridges your policy design with measurable outcomes. It contains your aggregated counts and gas totals broken down by paymaster and, crucially, by policy tag. It includes those derived metrics we just talked about. But honestly, the best part? It includes a concrete recommendations array for optimizations. This isn't just a data dump, guys. It's a specific, machine-readable to-do list for fixing your gas leaks, complete with clear rationale and estimated gas savings.
Section 6. Next steps for optimization. Having the report is a fantastic first step for sure, but we actually have to apply the findings to patch the leaks we've uncovered. You're going to want to prioritize cost-saving actions that are low risk to your overall sponsorship semantics, things like shrinking call data size or cutting out redundant calls, before entirely rewriting your whole set of rules. And as we start prioritizing how to patch these leaks, there's a golden rule we have to remember. Observability must map directly to policy tags and paymaster identifiers so you can attribute costs and behavior to the exact decision that produced them. Code and metrics are totally useless in isolation if they aren't tied directly to the policy decisions you authored. That binding is exactly what makes optimization possible in the first place.
To wrap up, I want you to try exporting your own debug report JSON and isolating your top 2 most expensive policies. This simple, reproducible pipeline is going to save you so many headaches and so much gas down the line. I really hope this explainer from Forge College gave you the exact tools you need. But it leaves us with one massive question. Now that you can see exactly where your gas is leaking, what flaws are you going to discover hiding in your own smart contracts today? To dive deeper into this topic, explore detailed code examples, and discover a ton of other fascinating Web3 resources, be sure to visit forge.college. Keep building, keep optimizing, and I'll catch you in the next one.